Today I will tell you why you can brake or accelerate harder when the bike is leant over. If you look at those pictures, the rider on the blue bike can actually brake harder than the rider on the orange bike. We start by looking at the basic limitations. There is a separate tutorial for those basic limitations, but I will touch them briefly. The red circle represents the grip, and if the grip is good enough, you cannot utilize it to the full when you're braking, because you come to the stoppy limit where the bike lifts the back wheel. And if you accelerate and have grip enough and engine power enough, you come to the wheelie limit where the bike lifts the front wheel, but you can still utilize the full grip when you're turning, unless something is touching the ground, of course. And we are going to stay in the bottom right corner of this circle, representing braking. And here is the bottom right corner of the same circle. Here I have done the calculations for a coefficient of friction of 1.3, and that is representing how much grip you have, so that is the grip limit. So the radius of the grip circle is 1.3. If nothing else hinders, you can brake with 1.3 G, you can turn with 1.3 G, and as you can see here, because the bike is short and the center of gravity is quite high on a race bike, the bike will flip at approximately 1.15 G. So when you're braking with no lean, the first limit you will touch is the flip limit. But if you start turning a little bit, the bike will lean and the flip limit will become less severe, and the most braking you can do is exactly when the flip limit touches the grip limit. I will explain why. It's easy to understand with this picture. This guy is actually leaning a little bit while he's braking, and if you think this bike is upright, the center of gravity will be somewhere around here. Now, because the bike is leant over, it's going down to here, so the center of gravity is lower, the length of the bike is the same, and with a lower center of gravity you can brake harder before the back wheel lifts. If you want to see it another way, you can think that when the bike is upright, you only have the gravity holding it down towards the contact path of the wheel, but when you're turning, you have the gravity and you have the force from turning, and then you have the resulting force going through the bike holding it down, and this is a greater force than only the gravity. And either way you calculate it, either from lowering the center of gravity, or you calculate the resulting force instead of the gravity of the bike, you will come to exactly the same result. So if we look at this again, if you have the bike upright and you're approaching the corner, you brake as hard as you can until the bike is starting to lift the back wheel. But then when you start turning, you can actually brake harder before the back wheel comes off. And the hardest you can brake is where the flip limit meets the grip limit, and then as you continue turning harder and harder, you have to release the brake, and when you are mid-corner, you utilize all the grip for turning, you cannot brake at all. So brake harder, you release the brake. And if you miss this and you don't release the brake, the braking force will come outside of the limit of grip, and this will happen. And as I said in the beginning, the same physics applies for acceleration, but When you start training this, I suggest you start under braking, because if you do it wrong and you do it under acceleration, this will happen.